What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And for today's video guys, I will show you several news. I will remind you that we have 4 days to the deadline, and this deadline might be quite interesting. At the same time, I have a lot of doubts that something will happen at the end of this week. On top of that, I will show you potentially not the best update, and I will show you some evidence that potentially shows us that we were tricked by someone inside our community. And unfortunately, it is not the best news, but we have to move forward. And before we dive deep into all of this, guys, please hit the like button for YouTube algorithm and drop me a line in the comment section if you think my videos are valuable for you. So let's start with this news. Meta News, for now it is X Market News, wrote this tweet 11 hours ago, and it says, "Just in, retail investors issue a farewell letter to the SEC chairman Gary Gensler." And here is the direct speech. "You've been unforgettably the most misguided, malicious and malcontented SEC chair in the history of the United States. And let me show you this letter in details. It was written for Gary Gensler, and it says, "You will not be forgotten. Seriously, we will never forget you, nor what you did to us. Your reign over the SEC will go down as one of the most destructive periods in the financial history, marked by arrogance, incompetence, and an obsessive crusade against innovation. You have managed to embody everything wrong with the unchecked regulatory power, leaving behind a legacy of shattered trust and billions in lost value. So bad was your reign that Congress drafted legislation to eliminate your position entirely. Also, President Trump called for an immediate dismissal of your position upon his inauguration. We won't forget the vendettas against Ripple Labs and XRP. We won't forget how your agency lied and cheated the debt box case so badly that you earned a reprimand from a federal judge and had to pay restitution to those you harmed in the name of protection, so-called protection. We won't forget the injustice you did to the MMTLP stockholders, ignoring over 70 Congress members and not giving a resolution to shareholders who've been trapped for over 700 days. Lastly, we will never ever forget your suppression of a Bitcoin ETF for no reason other than you hate us. You have been unforgettably the most misguided, malicious, and malcontented SEC chair in the history of the United States. No buildings will be named after you. Nothing you've said or done will matter. Nothing you write will be read. At best, you will be the Ozymandias of finance, a broken, crumbling relic on a deserted path nobody treads. Goodbye, Gary. We will never ever forget you. Sincerely, all of us." And guys, it is for the first time in my entire life where I see this type of letter that is addressed to one of the head of a major US committee. And definitely, if I were Gary Gensler, fortunately I am not, I would not like this letter. And definitely, Gary Gensler should think twice before he act. Not only before he act, but before he even think to act, because we are looking after him and we want to have a justice. We want to see fair and transparent markets. And Gary Gensler was one of the people, one of the potential wrongdoers who prevented us to see this resolution, to see the fair and transparent market. And for now, guys, I think it is close to its end, and we are about to see a new chapter in huge book of the US stock market. And that is why, guys, I think the changes are here. So let me show you another quite interesting update. You know that Doug Sifo, the head of Virtu Financials, and Virtu Financials is another company that potentially might be involved in the illegal naked shorting. And Doug Sifo's behavior, I have to admit, raises even more questions to his status. And guys, take a look right here. Christian Shaughnessy reposted the tweet that was written by Polish Assassin, and Polish Assassin wrote this: "Dirty Duck, Duck Sifu still deflecting from answering questions by calling Christian Shaughnessy names. Let's try again. Duck, years ago you sued the SEC to ban payments for order flow. Would you now support a payment for order flow ban? And 2, would you support reinstating the uptick in sub-to-be market cap companies?" And I have to admit that Polish Assassin added a couple of screenshots, and guys, these screenshots are not the best in terms of his behavior. As you can see, Duck Sifu just 13 hours ago, according to this screenshot, insults Christian Shaughnessy. He wrote that she is a total clown. He wrote that she's an imbecile, and he wrote that she's a moron. Guys, how it is even possible that this type of people might attack the representative of retail investors? And I have to admit that Christian is the voice of retail investors because first of all, she is a journalist and she covers a lot of topics related to this issue. And I have to admit that it is not for the first time when she receives this type of insults. And guys, believe me, she will handle this problem, and Duck Sifu will regret about this even without any actions from our side, because everything is balanced in the universe, and everything bad that someone does to another person will come back to himself. And it is just a rule of universe. So, and on top of that, I want to show you the tweet that is not the best one. Let me show you this tweet that Christian Shaughnessy wrote 13 hours ago. It's obvious in the past 4 years that there have been things happening in the market that to call them shocking would be an understatement. There are days you can see with the naked eye the price manipulation. Dario, why has not one SEC employee publicly acknowledged the truck put outside in front door of the SEC numerous times, highlighting the fraud in the market? Link to Dario's podcast. And guys, here's several pictures of the truck, and I covered it multiple times, that MMTLP community put this truck in front of the SEC SEC office, and I showed you this picture where Gary Gensler ran away from the person who made this photo. But guys, for now, we have quite interesting update. Let me show you this. Platinum wrote this: "There are plenty of market manipulation, but why are people manipulating photos like this too? Not saying it was you, I've seen this photo posted before. Notice how the truck's shadow doesn't match the people's shadows. Different times of the day. The truck and people were probably there, but not at the same time. If you zoom in, you can see more distortions." And guys, I showed you this picture in my video, and I also showed you that, and I also told you that it is a real picture when Gary Gensler ran away from the person who made it. But at the same time, guys, if you zoom into this to this part of the picture, you can see that there is a lot of distortions. On top of that, the shadow of the truck is not in line with the shadows of these people. And guys, I am not an expert in this type of investigations. If you have a knowledge and if you know how to find out the truth, please drop me a line in the comment section and tell me what is the point of these distortions, how these shadows might stay in line with each other. And on top of that, guys, take a look at this post, floating dog. You can see that it is some kind of I don't know what is it right here. It is a part of another van or something like that, but it is very difficult to recognize what is it, and definitely it raises some questions to the person who made this picture. And definitely it is not the best to use this type of misleading information, if it is a misleading information, in our community. So unfortunately no one is perfect, and I believe that Christian posted this tweet without knowledge that this picture was potentially photoshopped. And that is why, guys, please do your own due diligence and use the proper informational sources. On top of that, guys, let me show you that unfortunately we don't have any updates from Scott Trott in regards to his lawsuit. He is, let's say, a little bit quiet for quite some time, but we have this tweet that he published on November the 9th. And he wrote, "Getting at the truth often reveals who was content to hide the lies." And he refers to the tweet that was written by your favorite SGM. And it was a letter that was addressed. Let me show you this in details. This is the letter that was addressed to NBH Hydrocarbons. And your favorite SGM wrote, "Step 1. Send the shareholder RFI for MMTLP, also known as NBH Hydrocarbons, via email and registered mail. I'd like answers from our company, not X or YouTube. If I suddenly become a lightning rod for asking, then I'm going to have concerns if this community ever cared about its veterans." And guys, I covered this letter about a week ago, and here is the letter that is addressed to Greg McCabe, and we have the answers that are pretty much quite similar to the it is not an answer. This is the questions that are quite similar to the questions that were asked by Scott for Greg McCabe. And here you can see the deadline that the answer should be made within 14 calendar days. This means we have not more than 4 days till this deadline. And unfortunately, I have a feeling that we will not receive these answers. And right after this deadline expires, potentially we might see another lawsuit, at this time against NBH Hydrocarbons and Greg McCabe. Because I have to admit that, in my opinion, Greg is hiding a lot of information that should be disclosed publicly to his shareholders. And this information is not only the 10Q report that I have to admit is quite weak, but we don't have any comments right after this report from Greg himself, and we don't have any updates for the future action that he will do in order to help his shareholders. And guys, definitely it is also not the best news, but in general, we still have the lawsuit of Scott on the table, and within the next several days, I believe he will do an update in order to show us the most recent information. On top of that, guys, I want to pay attention to the Rare DD's tweet. He is consistently working in our favor and in his favor as well, and he is publishing very interesting and very thoroughly made information. So he wrote this: "Remember, the SEC contacted FINRA's OTC Corporate Actions team about the MMTLP corporate action at least 4 days before it was posted to FINRA's daily list. FINRA then forced the metamaterials to proceed with the deficient MMTLP corporate action modified by FINRA. Then FINRA later revised, and then U3 halted trading due to a deficiency built into the corporate action, but they claimed was due to an extraordinary event related to the settlement and clearance. All of the problems with the MMTLP corporate actions would have been easy to identify before the corporate actions were posted, if FINRA actually followed their Rule 6490. They clearly didn't. The SEC is supposed to review FINRA's activities to ensure that they are following their own rules. MMTLP is the biggest current controversy surrounding FINRA and the SEC. Is it a coincidence that the SEC appears to have had input on the MMTLP corporate actions, and the SEC has yet to comment on FINRA's breaking their Rule 6490? Over 65,000 investors were given the impression that they would be able to sell to close their long positions, not buy, on December the 9th and December the 12th of 2022. The U3 halt protected FINRA member firms that were short MMTLP and likely would have needed to buy shares from investors in order to close their short positions on December the 9th and December the 12th of 2022, position close only trading. The extraordinary event was protecting FINRA members' firms from infinite risk. all members of the FINRA UPC committee responsible for U3 halting MMTLP represented firms with significant exposure to MMTLP short positions. And guys, he added several screenshots of the evidence that everything that he stated right here is a reality. And unfortunately, guys, it is crystal clear that FINRA violated their own rule and SEC covered them. But we cannot do anything with this information because of their immunities. And that is why, guys, first of all, we have to challenge the immunity. And Scott potentially have a decent chances to make it happen because he didn't even file a writ of mandamus. That is basically a huge breakthrough in his case. He is still working to collect more information and to make this document even more powerful. But at the same time, guys, without the removal, at least partial removal of this immunity, we will not be able to solve any problems for the stock market itself. And we know that FINRA has a conflict of interest, and a lot of their employees might have a conflict of interest with the companies that they have to regulate. And that is why, guys, this swamp should be drained. And in my opinion, Donald Trump has all the chances to do so. And guys, let me tell you my personal story. I have a wife and 2 children aged 11 and 15, as well as a small dog. After 30 years of living in Russia near the Baikal Lake, we decided to move. Now we reside in Serbia. Although I don't own any MMTLP shares, I invest a lot of time creating daily MMTLP videos. I have been doing this every day without days off and holidays for more than 1.5 years. Now I wish to buy back this time from my family, from my children. We've agreed that I will ask the MMTLP community to support me, and I will give all the money to the children. Therefore, if you believe that I am providing useful content for you and wish to support me, you can join my Patreon account. For $5 a month, I will add your name to my list of supporters if you wish. Thank you in advance. The link you can find in the description below. So, I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag,